Good afternoon, beloved Master Tanaka. Good afternoon. I am Master Kwan Yin, and here I am, fully in my energy. I am fully present to all of you who are following our messages. I, Master Kwan Yin, always come with great joy, always come with great gratitude to participate in all these messages that are brought to you. I, Master Kwan Yin, always come with all my energy, all joy, all gratitude when I'm invoked by each of you in the practice of the Kwan Yin technique. The practice of the Kwan Yin technique, it leads to a transformation in the way you interpret your life. The Kwan Yin technique makes you more open to the energies of our spiritual plane. The Kwan Yin technique, it makes you recognize in your own being the energy of creation. That is why I, Master Kwan Yin, ask all of you to perform this technique always, always with great gratitude, with great joy, with great energy, and do this technique always with a goal, with a purpose. Why are you performing the technique? See, the Kwan Yin technique, it is an instrument, and like every instrument, it must have a purpose. I know that all of you today are aiming for your own transformation. You are aiming for your vibrational uplift. But when you perform the technique, if you do not have clearly within your being the purpose for you to be using the Kwan Yin technique instrument, I will tell you that you will not have the result that you all expected. Like any instrument, everyone must develop skills because the instrument is an instrument. Yes, but from the moment each of you dedicates a part of your being to develop the way you do the technique, it will be more effective because you are developing within your being a greater openness of why you are doing the technique. You are having a greater awareness of what the technique can do for you. From the moment you start to widen your consciousness, the technique too, it starts to become broader. Many of you still use the technique in a very restrictive, very limited way. And see, the technique has no limits, because the limitation is within each one of you. When you, through self-love, through dedication to yourself, because making the transformation in your being requires dedication, it demands love, it demands conviction, it demands respect. When you dedicate these energies to perform the technique, it expands. It becomes more and more active in your life. And the technique that you are using in such a restrictive way, it starts to grow. It starts to grow, it starts to grow. And when you realize you will be using the technique even in situations that you previously thought were unimaginable. So today, I, Master Kwan Yin, come to open the horizons for all of you through this energy that I am placing here in this message. The horizons of the Kwan Yin technique for each one of you is widened. Because through the energizing that I'm bringing to all of you here, this awareness, this broadening is being carried out. The process of transformation of the being itself must be a continuous process. A process, I will say, which must always be evolving, no matter how small the evolution. But it must be a process. That's why we call it a process, because it goes on and on. It goes on, it goes on, and as it goes on, its horizons goes on widening, its energies go on widening, its awareness goes on widening. The recognition which is so necessary for all of you, is expanding. So, use the technique for that purpose. Use the technique to increase awareness. Use the technique to bring to you this recognition of energies that are so necessary for all of you. Use the technique broadly. Use the technique so what it brings all the benefit that is added through the Kwan Yin technique. Today, I will say that the benefit that all of you access through the Kwan Yin technique is very small. I will say that you practically do not access the benefit that the Kwan Yin technique brings, because of this limitation that all of you have been subjected to. You must change the way in which you use spiritual instruments. The spiritual instruments that are brought in through all the messages that are channeled to you through this house, they have an immensity of benefits associated with them. And all these associated benefits, they are accessed from the moment you recognize that these spiritual instruments give you access, give you the possibility to reach these goals. That's why I tell you, spiritual instruments are different from physical instruments. Physical instruments, many times, you only use one way. It is a limited instrument. But a spiritual instrument is not limited. A spiritual instrument is open, is wide. As you widen your awareness, as you widen the way you want to develop the use of the instrument, you access more and more all the benefits that are associated with them. Spiritual instruments, they lead you to this much desired energetic transformation. Spiritual instruments take you to your vibrational elevation. They bring you into connection with our energies. Spiritual instruments lead you to God. That is why it is necessary for you to broaden the awareness that you have, the understanding that you have about all these spiritual instruments that we are bringing through our messages. Our messages, they carry a lot of energy. That's why all these instruments that we bring you, they carry a lot of energy. But as always, free will is always respected. So, even though these spiritual instruments carry all this energy, you only access the energy part that you give permission. So, allow yourself to access more and more the energies added to these instruments. Accept the energies added to these instruments. From the moment you accept, you start to use these aggregated energies, as these energies will be present in your being, and you see that through this acceptance that you all perform, your effectiveness becomes increasingly greater. Its effectiveness becomes increasingly present in your lives. And I, Master Kwan Yin, realize that this is the desire that everyone has. So, I ask you to take it a step further. You still hold on to the desire. Take it one step further, beyond this desire. Keep the desire firmly in your being and take it one step further. Do this consciousness raising. Accept my guidance and strive. Dedicate your being, dedicate your energy to make this whole transformation that I am here presenting to you. Dedicate your being to develop, to expand the use of the Kwan Yin technique, to expand the use of all the spiritual instruments that have been introduced to you through all these messages. Everything is always within your allowing, within your accepting. So, to all of you who have allowed my energy to get into your being, who have accepted this energetic emanation into your being, I ask that you do perform this loving act in your lives. Broaden the use of the Kwan Yin technique. With a lot of love, With a lot of gratitude, I say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you very much.